All right, this is 16th, 17th, because my wife's birthday was yesterday. 17th of February, Friday. Next steps. Okay, go to this 00 data Google Sheet here. This is where stuff is still happening. So let me just show you on the select sheet where we've got kind of like big, broad view of things. I filled in a few journal article issues. I say don't second guess them as long as this actually takes you to an issue of this journal. If you have some time and you want to just put links to issues, go ahead and do that. And then you or other people can come by and do some coding after that's done. So that's one thing that can be done. Looking anywhere there's no links for issues, go put links, like follow the link for the issue, which I think is in all of them. If that's messed up, please try and fix it. Like if it's a link to the wrong journal or the wrong issue, see if you can fix it. But don't stress too much about it. So anytime there's a missing link, try and do that anywhere that is. This business up here, International Journal of Offender Therapy, this row was very messed up. All the links on it were actually for what, violence and victims or something like that. I can't remember. Anyway, I copied that and put it to its new row, so I don't think we lost any of that data, whoever was doing that. And then I put issue numbers for this. I couldn't see any previous issue numbers that were actually for this journal. What was on this journal, the links all took you to a different journal. So I've given that its own row in here somewhere. I think it was, maybe it was aggression and violent behavior, maybe it was violence and victims, something like that. Anyway, so you can go and find anything that doesn't have a link and see if you go to this issue and then you do the counting and try and put the links in there to these things. So that's baseline. If you're thinking to yourself, I don't know so much about the judging of the domains and the genders, which isn't that hard, but if you're not really confident with it, do this. Just put links. Don't worry about gray. I think I might have copied something that's kind of weird and made them gray. Just put links to stuff. We'll determine whether they work later. All right, that's number one. Number two, everybody's doing a pretty good job on getting like gender coding here. So I added up to 8 authors. I think somebody else did that, and to make it standardized, I did that. Please don't change any headers without telling me. Don't change anything up here. Don't change anything over here. Just change, put the data in these pull down menus, that's all. And if you want to change anything up here, please let me know. I might have been the one who did up to 8 authors, which was a good idea. And so I went and hopefully standardize that across everything so that I can download the data a little more easily. It's a kind of a weird thing, and I had to do some coding, which I'm not great at. All right, so we have all of these gender things filled out. So we have some gender stuff here. We have some gender stuff here. What we don't have is the domain stuff for those gender things. So we can have some data. I would suggest if you're in the middle of doing a thing, like you're getting all the gender for this one issue, okay, finish that up. But then try and switch and do domain coding. If possible, do domain coding for stuff you have not done gender for. I don't know how critical that is, but I think it might be good for us to be able to say that when we talk about our data and how we coded it and collected it. So for instance, this is patients doing all this gender stuff. Patients should not do the domain coding if at all possible. Somebody else should do that domain coding. There were some other people here. Oh, maybe I went too far. Oh, that's a lot of patients. Here's AB Autumn. So somebody besides Autumn should do this. Oh, JC is doing it. Awesome. This is excellent. So code as well as you can, and it's harder to code the topic than it is the domain than it is to code the gender. So we got to switch to that quickly, because if we only have gender for an article, then we don't have data for that article. We don't have data until we have gender and domain coded, and I'm going to have to do some pretty fancy stats and make some decisions, and I'll let you know as I do that, but I need some data first. Right now we have, I think, a total of 7 data points. We have a lot more. We have like 100 gender codings, but only like 7 of those have the domain coding. So work on domain coding, switch over to that as soon as possible. Anytime you look on here and you see there's a bunch of gender but no domain, or a bunch of domain but no gender, if you're not the person who did one or the other, do the one that's not done. Like, that's a great thing to do. All right, that's all for today.